The first way to get free stuff to flip is just from stuff other people are giving away, which they do all the time on sites like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Now, most of the time, it's a lot of junk, but there are some diamonds out there, but you do have to strike fast when they come up. Number 2 is dumpster diving, and these ideas are roughly in order of complexity, so make sure to stick around to the end for some of the higher profit or potentially more scalable free inventory methods. But dumpster diving, this is a legit way to find treasure in the trash, as dumpster diving influencers, yes, this is a real thing, like Tiffany Cherie can attest. She's reported selling up to 30 grand a year worth of the free stuff she finds. Number 3 is reselling furniture returns through a platform like ShareTown. You know how every direct-to-consumer brand has some sort of risk reversal, to get people off the fence and ready to buy? Usually it's a money-back guarantee, and you see it with mattress brands all the time, like the 100-night sleep trial. Try it out in your home. If you don't like it, we'll haul it away and we'll give you your money back. Well, those companies can't really turn around and resell that stuff as new anymore because it's not, and they can't really resell it as used themselves either because they would undercut or cannibalize their primary business, which is why they turn to companies like ShareTown to help them deal with those return requests. Now, in turn, ShareTown dispatches local reps, often side hustlers, to go pick up these bulky items, clean them up, and then list them for resale as individuals. And to make it easy and attractive for those reps, they only have to pay for the inventory after it sells, making it another way to get risk-free product.
So that's kind of the beauty about ShareTown, is they're fronting our inventory. We only have to buy our supplies, and supplies for us is about $60. We buy the plastic and the tape to wrap these items and be able to keep them from weather. So That's our upfront cost. Aside from gas and mileage, we don't get reimbursed for that.
Sure,
but we don't have to pay for inventory until it is sold.
Okay, let's talk about that work. Maybe walk me through a typical transaction. So you get this notification, or this mattress pickup is assigned to you. You say, okay, I'm going out to Scottsdale. My husband and I, we've got a pickup truck, a big SUV, or like a trailer sort of thing. Like, let's talk, walk me through the logistics here.
Yeah, so we personally use a truck. A lot of people use minivans, SUVs. We use a truck. So when we get our item, we'll schedule them out, and we'll usually plan on 2 to 3 pickups per trip. He'll usually go out and pick up these items, and then he brings them back. And some need a little bit more TLC than others, but we'll clean and sanitize them, and then we'll flip them. So ShareTown provides pictures for us, but we also are able to take our own. So I think that's a huge important part of selling, is making sure it looks good, it's good lighting, things like that. The longer you do this, the more comfortable you are with each item and the knowledge you have in the brands and things like that. And so I'll have a conversation with the customer and let them know, answer their questions. Sometimes they want to come and check out the item, or they're just like, hey, when can you deliver it? And so whatever happens, we'll go deliver that mattress or item. And then once we get paid via Venmo or cash, or, all the different options you can receive payment nowadays, once a week, we will pay ShareTown for all of the items that we sold that week. My husband and I, we average about $250-ish per item. We're higher inventory reps. And so if we're kind of building up to the max, then we'll be like, okay, let's just focus on turning over. We'll make $100 to $150 per item and just get our inventory turned over.
You can learn more about ShareTown through my referral link at sidehustlenation.com/ShareTown, and I'll also link up my detailed review about how it all works in the description below. Free inventory method number 4 is print on demand. Now, I consider print on demand kind of a hybrid product business because you're selling physical goods, but you never really have to see or touch them. You don't have any physical inventory to hold. You're just uploading digital designs, which makes it a super low overhead business to get started with. This is Heather Johnson from episode 520 on how she thinks about pricing this free inventory business.
Printify, they charge $8, and then I sell my t-shirts generally for $10 more than that. So I sell it on Etsy for $18. Etsy takes a 6.5% transaction fee from the $18. So, and usually that estimates almost about $1 or slightly under $1 they take. So profit on that is generally about $8 to $9 so per t-shirt.
You can check out my full interview with Heather here or download episode 520 of the Side Hustle Show. Now, other similar models would include printables or digital products on Etsy, or ebooks or paperback books or journals on Amazon KDP. The advantage here is you can create something once and sell it over and over again. Number 5 is eBay consignment. So while I was working on my 1K 100 Ways book, which you can find at 1K100ways.com, I connected with Jamie McLaughlin, who started an interesting side hustle as an eBay consignment seller. And she specializes in these specific kinds of fashion dolls, and she sells hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of them every year. Now, because she's built up her reputation in the niche, people who have these and want to sell them know to come to her, and she charges a 37% sales commission to do it. None of her inventory, just selling other people's stuff. Could you do something similar in a niche you know about? Free inventory method number 6 is consignment events and flash sales. So in episode 486, Megan Church described starting Pineapple Consignment as an events-based business where she would spend months organizing the venue and curating inventory and then marketing the event, which was all a lot of fun, even if she described kind of the first events being only modestly profitable. But an interesting thing happened is that she developed this reputation in town for finding interesting items, which led to the next stage of her free inventory business, where she run these furniture flash sales through her Instagram stories. I mean, it's a pain to list items on Facebook Marketplace and deal with all these potential tire kickers, these interested buyers. So Megan takes that pain away, and in return, she earns a 30 to 40% commission on the ultimate sales price of each item. I'm sure your neighbors have got some stuff they'd like to get rid of and would be happy to give you a piece of the action if you could help make that stuff disappear. Number 7 is the free Flip app, which helps connect resellers like you with people who have products like name brand clothing, shoes, and accessories that they want to get rid of. How it works is you bid on lots. Flip calls them lots. These are bundles of products from members by sharing, what you think the items should sell for and the commission percentage you would charge for selling them. Now, typical commission rates on Flip are 30 to 50%, but keep in mind you're going to need to pay your eBay fees, your Poshmark fees, your other marketplace fees out of those earnings. But still, I think this one is worth a look if you're focused on the clothing or fashion niche, because it's a way to score a lot of inventory items at once instead of hunting onesie twosies at the thrift store. So my direct referral link for Flip is in the description below. Number 8 is estate sales and auctions. So I connected with a Side Hustle Show listener who specializes in estate sales. Hope to get him on the show later this year because I thought it was a really interesting free inventory business. How it works is he goes out and connects with local realtors, and they've got a vested interest in getting the items, getting the inventory cleared out of the houses so they can get them staged, get them sold, and go collect their own paycheck. Now, how the estate sale side hustle was explained to me was that the estate sale organizer, is going to take 25% of everything that sells and then often enlist the help of some online auction networks to reach a wider audience of buyers. And then they tack on a 15% fee to the buyer as well. So if there's a $100 item, he's earning $25 from the seller, and then the buyer ends up paying $115. So he's getting another $15 from the buyer. So he's earning $40 for every $100 that he sells. Now this one, for what it's worth, does take a lot of work in organizing the inventory and prepping it for sale, but you can see how it could pay off if the house has 10 or 20 grand worth of stuff in it. Free inventory idea number 9 is pallet flipping. This is a side hustle that's been described as the middleman method, essentially taking business byproducts like shipping pallets or industrial drums, other shipping materials, and playing matchmaker between buyers and suppliers. And sometimes you can even score inventory for free.
A lot of companies need our help. They're hoping that someone's going to walk through their door to ask them how they can help them. And in the business, like John said, it's a matchmaking business. They need our help really, really bad. And when you go to talk to these companies, that's when you realize, they have a problem, and you can come in as a problem solver. And the funny thing is, Nick, these two companies, they may be literally a few blocks, 1 or 2 blocks away from each other, but they never communicate. And even when John said that, I said, well, how is that possible? If company A is next to company B, well, why don't they just communicate and help each other out? But they don't, and that's when we come in and we make that match, matchmaking magic happening, so to speak. So it's happened to me too, and I'll share this with you if I may. I had a company reach out and say, we need, 200 pallets. And I said, okay. At the time I had, I still have my van. I had a cargo van. I could only fit like 30 in it. So I told them I could get in the 200. I had the 200, but I can only deliver 30 at a time. So what I did was I delivered the first 30. And then, okay, let's say the company I delivered to was in building A. And then you have building B and then building C. Building C had over like 440 pallets, right? And then company A needed 200. So as I was leaving company A going and right to building C, there's all these pallets that they need. So I just stopped there and asked, and they're like, well, go ahead, help yourself out. So I loaded up my van, I loaded up the van right there and turned around and came back and dropped off those pallets. And the company was like, wow, that was really fast. I said, yeah, I know, right? So I told myself, okay, look, give me another like 10 or 20 minutes and I'll be back. And I went back there and loaded up another 30. But this time I can't just drive back and make it out of here. So I had to go around the building and actually park the van, wait like a few more minutes, and then come around. That's how crazy it was. Yeah. But that was $2,000 in 45 minutes.
Wow. Be sure to check out my full video with Barney. It's super inspiring how he's grown his business to over $1,000 a day. Free inventory strategy number 10 is drop shipping, which comes in a lot of different flavors. The specific type I have in mind here is what might be called high ticket drop shipping. In broad strokes, drop shipping is where you're selling a product on behalf of a manufacturer or on behalf of a supplier, but you don't have to touch the inventory. When you make a sale, they ship it to the customer on your behalf and you profit on the spread between your wholesale price and that ultimate retail price. And you don't have to deal with the storage and shipping logistics either. Here's Rene Delgado from episode 294 talking through his dropshipping niche selection process, which ultimately ended up with him starting a store for commercial inflatables, like big bounce houses.
What I did to start out during the niche selection process was I made a list of like 150 various niches, and they varied in criteria, but primarily centered on, hey, the product's got to be more than $500. It's got to be drop ship friendly. It's got to be hard to find in stores, and it's got to have more than 20,000 unique searches in Google every single month. So with that criteria, I kind of started to create a list. It took me a couple of weeks. I got down to 150, and then I started narrowing down really just by purchase price. Obviously, the higher the better, and then unique searches, and then ultimately also looking at trends and seasonality and also the cost of advertising. So how much was I going to have to spend per click to advertise these products? Using that criteria, I narrowed it down to 3 items and ultimately selected bounce houses.
Okay. So you can estimate the CPC advertising or the pay-per-click advertising with the Google keyword planner, yes?
Correct.
Okay. And when you say dropship friendly, what do you mean by that? Because these things have got to weigh hundreds of pounds. Like, that doesn't seem very shipping friendly in general. I don't know about dropshipping.
What I mean by dropship friendly is basically, can I establish a relationship with the manufacturer in which I would spend the capital to do all of the front end legwork for them? So build a website, offer their products for sale, and really just drive marketing from a paid standpoint and SEO standpoint. Can I pitch that to the manufacturer and get them to drop ship product from them directly to the end customer?
Rene went on to explain that he typically aims for 12 to 15% profit margins, which means that for every $1,000 worth of product he sells, 120 to 150 of that will flow through to his bottom line. Now, lots of work up front here to develop the storefront, to develop the supplier relationships, but viable model. Now, one thing to consider here is how are you going to differentiate yourself from other dropshippers selling the same product from the same suppliers at the same price? Are you going to compete on design? Are you going to compete on customer service? You're going to compete on your marketing, your targeting, your positioning? But bottom line, with a little creativity, with a little persistence, you can make something out of nothing or make something out of almost nothing. Side hustles don't have to have high startup costs, as these examples illustrate. And in just about every example, it comes down to providing some sort of helpful service, solving somebody else's problem, making their pain go away, and then making a margin on that service. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more money-making ideas. Cheers.